Good evening. It's now the 17th of May and we've been in Ireland for 9 days. Scotland, where we did east to west coast. Ireland we've sort of done differently. Although we came in on the east coast, we went straight to Giant's Causeway at the top, and then we travelled down the west coast all the way to the bottom, and we're currently in Waterford and then heading back over to the UK in the next couple of days. So I promised the scenery would be different, and so I'm going to start by showing you a little bit of what we did in Northern Ireland in Giant's Causeway. I know you haven't seen much of Claire and Ruby because they're a bit camera shy, but they are definitely both with me here. There's Ruby. We've been tiring her out everywhere we go, and here's Claire sitting in the corner on her iPad downloading the photos. So I'll start with Giant's Causeway and drop some photos on. Enjoy. Okay, so we got on the ferry from Stranraer to Larne, stopped in a campsite, bumped into two French people who were in a freezing cold tent, so made them a cup of coffee, headed to the causeway, and here we are, myself and Claire, with a number of more stunning photos of the landscape of Giant's Causeway. One of the few places in Ireland that they actually let dogs in, so Ruby was allowed to come with us. And then we headed towards the Darken Hedges. For the Game of Thrones fans, this is where some of the big films were seen. Myself and Claire have never watched it, so we didn't know anything about it. But again, the views and the stories about these were quite interesting, so well worth a visit. There's Claire getting herself into a tree. So after Giant's Causeway, we bypassed Sligo for one reason or another and headed straight down to Westport and had 3 days there. That included seeing a nice, lovely statue of the famine and trying to climb Croagh Patrick, which is a pilgrim route where people followed the great saint himself up to the top of his own mountain. Unfortunately, they don't let dogs up there, so we only got halfway up there. But Westport was a very nice pit stop, and I would recommend it. We stopped there for 3 days. Obviously, we checked out the local pub on day one, and on day two it was the semi-final against West Brom, so I checked out another one. After which we went and did some sightseeing up Croagh Patrick, which we wanted to climb all the way, but this notice then stopped us from doing so. So we took some photos of the famine statue instead, and then we went for lunch the next day on the wonderful harbour in Westport, followed by a trip to Galway. Claire had never seen Salt Hill, so we popped in there. And then we had a night with cousins Michael and Catherine in Galway. Lots of things to see in Killarney, obviously, particularly the Ring of Kerry. You could literally stop every 100 metres on the 100-mile journey and get your camera out. I'm not going to make you do that. I'm only going to give you a snapshot of what we saw on the way, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. Obviously, before spending 2 hours in the van, we had to exercise the dog. So watch this.
On Rube. That's why to exercise the dog, this. Right next to the main road, very clever. But Rube seems to be enjoying himself. So that's all good. Time for a rest now for the dog. Ruby! Ruby, slow down, Mab! Ruby! See you in a minute, Mab.
One of the stops was Cowles Beach, which is very beautiful, but an awful trek down in the old camper van. followed by lots more of the Killarney scenery. We went to a place called Shnaim. He's a famous Gaelic player, allegedly. And some of the other sites that we picked up along the way around the 100-mile round trip of the Ring of Kerry. This little video. A bit windy as ever, but that's what happens with Ireland. From Killarney, we headed down to Waterford via a pit stop recommended by Wendy Williams in Kinsale, which again is well worth a little visit, and I'll show you a couple of photos of that. We've only got 2 days left now in Ireland, and they're going to be travelling because of our passport issues. We have to get from where we are in Waterford back up to Larne to get the ferry to Stranraer. It's about a 6-hour drive in a good car, and we're in a van, so it'll probably take a little bit longer. So we're going to spend probably 2 days driving and not seeing as much as we should, but we've seen everything that we want to see. My pricey of Ireland, I've always loved it, obviously, because that's where my family are from, and we caught up with some family, as you will have seen on the pictures. But I would say that anyone wanting to tour it in a camper van, that's absolutely fabulous. Lots of places to go. It is very expensive compared with England and Scotland. It's an average of €32 for a campsite, and in some of them you then have to pay for your showers with a euro in the metre. Everything else is more expensive, eating out and even going to the supermarket. And a little tip for dog lovers: if you want to tour Ireland with your dog, be prepared to leave the dog in the van an awful lot, because they really don't like dogs here. There was a Food Act in 1985 that said if you're serving food, then dogs aren't allowed in the establishment. Food includes serving a bag of crisps, so even bars in towns in Ireland serving crisps and nuts will not let dogs in. That law was actually repealed in 2018, but the landlords used to not having dogs in, just don't let them in. So Ruby's had to sit outside a lot if we were going to do these sort of things, but we haven't done them. So we missed the Blarney Stone and we missed a couple of castles, because we're here with our dog and the Irish don't want our dog here, and that's a shame. Everything else has been great. We'll be back in the UK for a few days, and so I'll keep you posted. It's Europe next. See you soon. Bye. A couple of pictures of Kinsale, as previously promised to you. Very nice little town, nice harbour, and we stopped and had some lunch and something named after me. Born in 1878, a couple of years before I was. Lovely view of the harbour here, and then we popped up to Charles Fort, which, guess what, they don't let dogs in, so there's a picture of me outside. But that's Ireland. See you soon. Bye.